Hey guys, Sean James here. Thanks for watching again. It's always nice to start the day off with a nice cup of coffee. So I'm just going to do a quick little fire here and show you how I make coffee 3 different ways. So I ground some fresh coffee this morning and now I'm going to go ahead and make coffee 3 different ways here. Got my very first backpack here that I got as a young teenager from an army surplus store in the town that I grew up in. No, I think that section there, I actually put it down on a campfire when I was deer hunting up north at a deer camp back when I was 15. Leather straps have held up pretty good. I use them as a strop for the knife as well, but this great pack brings back a lot of memories. Not really functional by today's standards, but it did a good job back then. Folding 10-liter bucket, which is what, 2.5 gallons. Nice river down here that's got steelhead in it maybe right now. No green inside there at all. See how dry that is? Brown. Well seasoned. Nice tall tree, lots of dry wood in there. So I'll cut that down with my saw. Right, so for the French press, what I do is put about 1.5 tablespoons of grounds in coffee grounds in the bottom of the pot. So what you want to do is leave that for 2 or 3 minutes. You'll see the grinds are starting to float. So you're gonna have to break that surface tension by pushing French press down once, pump it down, and then lift it right back out again, and then let it steep. Depending how strong you want it, you can let it steep anywhere from 4 to 8 minutes. I like 8 minutes, a little bit stronger, but it's more bitter. The shorter brew is still good coffee and just a little less bitter. It doesn't take as many of the tannins out of the beans. So I'll let that sit and get another pot going here. After a few minutes, you want to push that all the way down to the bottom. Breaks the surface tension here at the top of the water. The grounds want to rise up and just sit on top, and then they don't get fully saturated with water. So you want to push that down and pull it back up again. That's going to force most of the grinds down underneath the water. And then when that's done, you've let it percolate for 3 or 4 minutes. You're just going to push that slowly all the way down to the bottom. And because I made more than a cup, that's a little bit weaker than I'd normally drink out in the bush, especially since I drink it black. But that's it. So that's French press coffee. One of the best ways to brew coffee at home or in the field. It's good coffee. That's my favorite way to brew it in the French press, but I rarely, if ever, take that French press out into the back country with me. Yeah, that's really good. Another way I make coffee is just to make it directly into the mug that I'm going to drink it out of. If I'm on my own, which I usually am on my solo trips, of course, I do bring coffee, or I'll make tea, or bush tea out of mint, or Labrador tea, cedar, spruce tips, or something like that. I'll just make my tea directly in the mug, which is a lot quicker, obviously. So what I have these cloth filters. Instead of using the paper filters, I just keep reusing this. Fits over this mug pretty good, like that. And then I'll just put the grinds right in the cup here. So you can see, pretty simple. Pretty simple system. So like I said, it's a little bit bigger than a paper filter, so it fits over that mug nicely. And all I'll do is put maybe 1.5, 2 tablespoons of grounds in there. Make it a nice strong coffee for the morning. So it just sits in there, and I'll just fill that up with water. What I like about this method is it makes a really strong cup of coffee with the grounds boiling right in the water for 5 or 6 minutes. And finally, my third and favorite way to make coffee in the bush for groups of 2 or more. So not when I'm alone, unless I'm base camping, I'm gonna be there all day and I want a few cups of coffee, is to go cowboy style. So boil the full kettle of water, or however much you want in there. So if you want 3 cups of coffee, use your mug, however much you want to fill it up. Fill your mug with water first, and then pour that into the kettle so you know how much water to put in for the amount of coffee that you want. So what you want is 1 heaping tablespoon per person, and then I throw a little extra, 1 or 2 extra in there just for added strength. I'm going to make all of this coffee. What you need to do is just break the surface tension, so let it boil for a couple of minutes, and then stir it around. It causes most of the grinds to start sinking to the bottom. Then I'm going to show you how to get them all to sink to the bottom before you pour your cup of coffee. That's a nice rolling boil in there now. That's what you're looking for. I'd like to boil that for 6, 7, or 8 minutes for a nice strong cup of coffee. Any more than that and it starts to get too bitter, so you really shouldn't leave it any longer, but I tend to just keep refilling that pot. Those grinds will stay in that pot all day, and I'll keep drinking from it if I'm around camp. You're literally going to pick it up by the handle and you're going to swing it in a circle. Centrifugal force is going to force all those grounds to the bottom of the pot. So make sure your handle's on there good and you're confident. Keep going. Stop at the right place. Try not to go over your head so you're not wearing it if it does. And they settled perfectly. Now that they're settled, pour yourself a nice cup of coffee. That's hot. That's it. That's my 3 ways I make coffee in the bush. Sean James here. Thanks again for watching. There's a few grounds left in there, but they're not going to kill you.